From there we went for retraining to cellaring, and then that is where I actually finished my training and qualified as a signaller, and then was posted to D Company as 11 Platoon signaller. There we were on various patrols. Notably, we were put to a platoon outpost in a village called Laying, which was alongside the railway, very exposed. The other side of the railway was rubber plantation, so we were very exposed to attack. So we had to be on our toes during darkness. But most of our patrolling there was in local areas. Then when we went back to the company base, we actually went on more regular patrols into sometimes deep jungle, sometimes just in the rubber.
What was the average length of a patrol?
About a week to 10 days, I suppose. Occasionally you would be in for a month, which would normally mean that you would need an airdrop for resupplying, which gave us a little how could I say, a little perk, in as much that if you had an airdrop, there was a lot of parachute silk that was around, and we used to allocate the parachute silk around the platoon, and that gave us something that we could wrap ourselves up in at night and keep ourselves fairly warm. And with the parachute silks, you usually found that people were very friendly to you when you were getting near to the mob because they wanted your parachute silk. It was also handy when you were laying in ambush positions to keep a little bit of extra warmth around you, because you could be in ambush position for 2-3 days, not moving very far, or not moving very much. You would have cold meals out of the tin, weren't allowed to smoke. Basically, it was only latrine that you could move for, go to the latrines.
How did you feel about that, knowing there were people out there that might be trying to kill you as you were trying to kill them?
You didn't really think about it, and you were alert all the time, but you didn't really notice it. I only noticed when I came home how relieved I was, and how I'd been living on my nerves. And it affected people different ways. I was very jumpy for quite a few months. And I did meet one chap who had actually almost lost the power of speech. He couldn't talk without a terrible stutter, and yet in Malaya he was as normal as anybody else. And it all had this effect, but you didn't notice it at the time. You were just alert. You were trained to be alert and watching for things, and the tension didn't actually get to you while you were there, or not to me anyway. I did have, being a signaller, I did have the added knowledge that if anything happened, that there would be 2 or 3 men that would actually be protecting me while I was doing my job. So I suppose that may have had an effect. But I haven't met anybody, even now, some 50 years later, where they said that they were on edge.
And what did you feel about when you heard you were going to Malaya, the other side of the world nearly, and travelling 50 years ago wasn't half as common as it is now?
The travel didn't actually affect me much. It did make me a little bit nervous because I can remember hearing on the radio every day they would give out how many forces of the forces have been killed, how many terrorists have been killed. This had been going on for a couple of years, and on the newscasts they used to do that daily. How many men have been killed? How many terrorists have been killed? So yes, I wasn't keen on it, but I'd signed up. So what could you do? You just go along with it. You didn't question things in those days. You were trained not to question. So I suppose we were led by the nose, really.